I mean, I'm sure. I'm gonna stop it.
We're gonna kick you, we're on both sides.
It is 6:30, February the 6th, 2024, and we're calling our regular city council meeting to order. We will begin with roll call, and I'll start with Callahan.
Callahan here.
Dennis here.
Frazier here.
McShane here.
Kesnowski here.
Gibson here.
Wayne here.
Let us, the record show that Love is on her way, stuck in traffic, and will be here. And Al is, let us know he's going to be late, so if we can make those notations. Invocation.
Father God, we thank you for tonight. Thank you for this opportunity to get together and take care of the issues and the needs of our city. Lord God, I just pray that you would touch our hearts so that we would see through your eyes and understand the things that you'd like us to take care of. We praise you. Thank you. In your precious name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Texas flag? Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Do we have anyone signed up for public hearing? Okay, we will move along. Any public comment? We move along.
Mayor, maybe we should just state for the record that we had a public hearing on this special use permit. Just want to get that in there, so, but no one was here, so. Okay, thank you. Man, you're moving. The manager's report, we just have a couple items I wanted to mention. First is the planning and zoning quarterly report you have in your packets as usual on that activity. If you have any questions, you can let us know now or later. And then the first quarter investment report that's also in your packet. This is a report we're compelled to present at a council meeting every quarter. It's basically a point-in-time snapshot of our checkbook, basically. So, but Belin's here. We'd be glad to answer any questions about that if anybody had any. If not, I'll just, the only other thing I wanted to mention is we're finally having our Morris Memorial Playground grand opening. As much as we've tried to rope off the playground, the kids are still all over. I saw them all over it today. It's an exciting thing, and we had some last-minute details with ground cover and a couple other things, but Amy's got that all done, and we're going to have a big day on Saturday. Do you want to add anything in particular, Amy? 2 o'clock. Hope everybody is there. We'll plan to have good weather, good day. So, that's really all I had in my report, Mayor, unless anybody had any questions for me on anything on the
Okay.
agenda.
Next, we'll move on to our consent agenda. And you have 3 items there. Does anybody want to pull anything? The minutes from our last meeting, the resolution authorizing the city manager to approve professional fees for services on our police department, and then to consider to waive open container for music in the park that we know we do all the time. So any questions on those? And if not, I'll entertain a motion.
So moved, Mayor.
Second.
It's been moved in second, and we will begin with Mayor Pro Tem Brazier.
Frazier, yes.
McShane, yes?
Kesnowski, yes.
Gibson, yes.
Wayne, yes. Callahan, yes.
Dennis, yes.
All righty. And the next thing we have is new business. Your first item is a resolution of the City Council of the City of Elgin, Texas, to approve a service agreement with Flock Safety for an automated license plate reader system, ALPR, with Elgin Police Department, and to authorize the city manager to execute said agreement.
Thank you, Mayor. We have a presentation the PD is going to make here tonight, the chief's going to make about another advancement we're proposing to implement with the police department with this license plate reader system. And I'll just let the chief take it from here.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Good evening. And I'm not sure if any of y'all are familiar with the flock safety systems. They're very common license plate reading system that is around our area and across the nation. And this is an item that we had originally included in the October budget, but ended up we pulled it in order to bring it back around as a mid-year budget adjustment for this particular product. And with the as part of a piece of technology that is very, very valuable to us, and with regard to solving crime after the fact, after it has already occurred, and which that in and of itself is a very important component of this, particularly of what this technology is not. And so I'd like to explain a little bit about it, and then also brought Alex Small. He's with Flock Safety, and he can answer any of the technical questions and any questions about obtaining access to TxDOT right-of-way and things of that nature, is where these cameras would be posted up at. But the main thing to start with, about being what we call a force multiplier for the police department. That is that this will help our detectives after the fact with solving crimes that have already occurred, and also to notify us in real time when either a stolen vehicle is coming through the city of Elgin, or there is a vehicle that's tied to an Amber Alert or some other violent crime that has another agency or jurisdiction has tagged that vehicle with, and so that it will notify us, and as I said, in real time as the vehicle's coming through. And I think it's important to note, we already have license plate readers in our cars attached to the Axon cameras. But the difference of this is that license plate reader in the car is only as good as where that car is at any given time. And with the stationary flock cameras, that all the traffic that goes past that camera, that we can retrieve that data up to 30 days afterwards. And at that time, the data is deleted. And I'm sure you've probably heard in the news around us, other cities, that the retention period was the point of concern, particularly for Austin. I think they wanted to leave it at 3 minutes, which was, it's kind of what's the point at that? Because for us, for crimes to be reported to us, sometimes it's either days or weeks before the crime is even reported, or we develop leads in other ways that then lead us to where we can go search this particular database for cars that have come through our area.
Kind of just rolling along here with you, Chief. Is that, are you speaking to specific slides, or I'm trying to marry up with you as you go?
Okay, sorry, I can't talk. And then also, with respect to the previous slide about transparency, there are multiple avenues of transparency within this software or within this system as well. And ultimately, or as you'll see later, that if it is approved and we move forward with it through the pilot program, or before it's implemented, we must have a policy in place, and that will be done as well. And with what you get when the vehicle, or when the photograph is taken, it is of the rear of the car and of the license plate. And that ensures that no photographs of people are made, and there is no facial recognition or anything of that nature related to this software. And this way, when we do a search for a vehicle, if we need, say, a white Toyota, then we can just type that in and it'll pull up every white Toyota that came through our jurisdiction during a given time. And we can even drill it down to a specific roadway at a specific time. As an anecdote, on last Tuesday, a week from today, or a week prior, we had a road rage incident in the 1100 block of 290, basically right in front of Specs and eastbound lanes of 290. The victims got a gunshot through the front passenger window of the car, and from another vehicle on the roadway. And a couple and their child was in that car. In this particular situation, of course, they had absolutely no information about the vehicle other than what they thought it might be. Well, with this system, we can drill that down and we can get that information, and gives us a place to start looking. The camera system, it obviously works 24/7 as opposed to the vehicles that are ours. When they're down, they're down. And again, we get the real-time alerts from the National Crime Information Center, and the National Crime, or the Amber Alert system as well. And then on specific other hot lists for other jurisdictions that report stolen cars or other crimes that are associated with a particular vehicle. And as I said before, it's important to know what this is not. And it is not facial recognition. It is not tied to personal identifiable information. It is not used for traffic enforcement. It is, there must be a valid law enforcement reason to use it, to access the system. And it does leave a footprint of who is in the system, when it is used, and what data that is obtained from it. And again, it's not stored beyond 30 days. And the footage that is taken, we own it. And again, 30 days. And you will hear this, you'll hear me repeat this over and over again about the safeties in here to keep this from being abused. And again, the biggest one is it's not facial recognition. It's only taking a picture of the car, the back of the car. And ultimately, it takes the human bias out of it. And it is just computer generated, or where we search for images. And with regard to transparency, it's, again, it's customizable for each agency. At request, we can publish the usage metrics of it. Again, it's who used it, when they used it, what they used it for, what they were looking for. And then we can share our search audits with other jurisdictions as well. And again, it's proactive real-time alerts when a stolen or wanted vehicle is enters our city with as an investigative tool. The intent is for our clearance rates to increase, and then also the cameras will serve as a deterrent as well. If you go ahead to the next one. And on this list, this is the short list of cities that are around us that already have this. And even though Austin is on the list, have they implemented yet, or are they still in the process? But they are doing it. Okay. Okay. So then also Williamson County, it's actually on the big master list that comes up next, but it's here. Bastrop County is also looking into it. Manor PD has it. Taylor PD has it. Hutto, the city of Bastrop. And so we're kind of the donut hole, if you will, of municipalities or jurisdictions that don't have it but are looking to implement it. And then we will be able to share information with other agencies about what's going on either here, and then we can get their information. And then also, as talking about relatedly, next month we'll be rolling out, or Bastrop County will be rolling out the new records management and computer-assisted dispatch system, where we can share information regionally. And for those that went on the tour, what a concept that we all talk to each other and share information. Anyway, that's in Texas. And also Pflugerville is on there as well. And then there's some, try to get some feel-good or maybe not so feel-good examples of where this technology has proved very valuable and helped Sugar Land Police Department with solving a murder case. And next one. And then a silver alert. And hate to say it, but that may be me in a few years. And if you see me wandering through, I'll be on the camera system. Next, please. And then a campus where a lot of cars were, students and faculty were getting their cars stolen, and this helped getting with that system, or getting those people their cars back. You can go next. And that's a actual stranger-on-stranger abduction success story that the cameras were instrumental in. Next. And this is out of Brazoria County, Angleton area. And the main reason I put this in is I was supposed to go to Angleton for training, and I was just kind of researching the area, and this story popped up on, it was a Facebook story. Thought it was kind of neat that that a sexual assault victim, kidnapping and sexual assault victim, was able to get justice because of this camera. Next, please. And then, of course, what we all know is the mass shooting event that was most likely prevented because of the flock cameras in Sunset Valley, Texas. This guy was coming to the grand opening of the Cybertruck rollout. Next, please. And how much does it cost? $1 million question. Okay, we are currently in a pilot program, and where Flock has agreed to provide us access to their nationwide system of other agencies who will share with us. And that we have to allow our data to be shared, as do other departments have to allow their data to be shared with us. You just don't give it away. And that's, again, for privacy purposes. And so we have free access to the data nationwide till the end of the fiscal year, regardless of whether we sign up. But it is an incentive for us that they are providing to us. And also, within that pilot program, there is a 60-day satisfaction guarantee that once the cameras are up and running, that would, when that 60-day time clock starts, that at the end of that 60 days, if we don't like it, they come and get their stuff and leave. However, if we do like it, as everybody else around us has already demonstrated that they do, that then, next slide, it's a 2-year contract. The first year, the annual subscription is $39,000. Then there's an equipment and installation fee of $8,450, which generates up to, I think I forgot to do my math on that one, but $47,000 for the first year. Then the second year is just the $39,000 annual subscription fee. Or if we like it, we decide we would like to add more cameras, because we are, this pilot program is for 13 cameras, and I'll show you where we're planning on putting them. But anyway, at the end of the total 2-year expense for this is $86,450. And year 3 and beyond is contract negotiation at that point. And then the locations will primarily be US 290, city limit to city limit, State Highway 95, north and south, city limit to city limit, FM 1100 from County Line Road to Highway 95, and then County Line Road itself from US 290 to the city limits. And the purpose of that is where the bulk of the traffic in our area traverses, and the bulk of the residents, off of 1100 and County Line Road, for looking at when and if there's either a burglary of a residence or construction material theft, that we can start backtracking that and get pictures of those vehicles that may be involved, and or a lot of the family violence, assaults and things of that nature in the new subdivisions of the vehicles that are leaving the area. Then also, HOAs are coming online with getting their own systems as well. As we were just given access to Harris Ridge's camera system, which they're just west of us on And you got questions, we got answers.
Just talk about TxDOT, and obviously these are most highways. These locations are mostly going to be on state highways, so we've got to work with them and get there.
Correct. Anything as a state highway, we have to get their permission, or state roadway, we have to get their permission. And in talking with Michael, with regard to County Line Road, when the next phase goes into construction, that, we can put our own posts up and incorporate that into the construction phase as well. Yes, sir.
I do remember this. I did go to this breakout session at the TML conference. It was very impressive, and I think I sent you a text about it.
You did.
So,
As did Councilmember Swain. We talked about that as well. Yes, ma'am.
Can we talk about the 30 days? And the reason why I'm asking that is because it takes Austin forever to solve a case. And if you're gonna just nip it in 30 days, who's to say we're gonna not need that information
And that
after
was
30
the
days?
same question I asked, so why can't we keep it forever? Let the,
All right, my name is Alex Small, I'm with Flock Safety. So to answer your question, 30 days isn't a national standard. It's a standard that we put on flock data, ultimately. Some states wanted 1 year, other jurisdictions wanted 2 days, right? We found this happy sweet spot. And the reason being, when we start talking to chiefs and different agencies, they all have the same message. It varies the amount of time it's gonna take for an actual case to hit their desk. Also, if I left for the weekend and my house is burglarized, that's multiple days now that we have to go back to be able to find that data. So 30 days has been the sweet spot. We do have the ability to extend that as additional cost, but really, every situation that I've been in so far, 30 days has been plenty.
How long has that been?
Over a year at this point. With Flock, you're saying?
Yeah, because you
Yeah.
said with your experience, I want to know how long.
Oh,
that
yeah.
took.
Over a year with Flock. I've been in this industry for quite a few years at this point.
Okay.
there is another system out there as well.
Because we would be the ones that would need to have that, just because we don't have it. So I can see it very easily being, okay, we should have had that, and we don't have it now,
Yep.
so.
As I said, we can't extend that, but it has to be paid for.
Can you extend it? Okay, so we go through the pilot, we do all the first year stuff, and then we find that maybe we do need to extend it longer.
Yep.
Can we do it at any given time?
Yep.
Or is it a set time with the contract?
So you are able. Yeah, I was like, you are able to extend it. So really, it's increasing the amount of cloud storage for that individual device. So instead of putting it for a 30-day cutoff, you put it for 180-day cutoff, or whatever you guys determine at that point. So great question.
Yeah, but I guess this is a prosecutor question, but if it's an active investigation, we got the data reading somebody's license plate that we're working a case. That's part of that evidence, isn't it? You don't have to.
Absolutely.
You're talking about just generally keeping the data. If we're you have an active case, that this is part of the case you're building, you can keep it longer than 30 days, can't you?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Once it becomes evidence in a case.
Evidence, that's
it
what-
stays there forever.
Okay.
Yep. And if there's ever a relevance for the data, so if they're looking at a certain image or they're trying to work on a case and that image is important, they can save that locally. So even though we have the cloud data as a 30-day cutoff, they can save any data that they want on their end.
That's what I want to hear, okay.
So I've got several questions in regards to data and surveillance. So when my understanding from reading the contract is we can download all of the data to our servers in Elgin. So my question is, what is our policy and how long do we hold on to that data?
That will be a policy that we create, and when we download data, it will be as a direct result of an investigation that we're doing, not just capturing a bunch of data on one particular car. Again, there has to be a law enforcement reason to access that data. But if we are looking at something specific, then we will keep that data with that case forever, and for as long as records retention rules require. But, just arbitrary downloads, it has to be tied to some investigation.
Can I have a follow-up question real quick? So my question was about the policy. So you have to do this policy. What's your time frame on if we vote this in, what is your timeframe to get that policy written?
I would like to have it done before TxDOT comes back, while we're working on getting the rights-of-way acquired. So I would say within, what's the TxDOT, your average time with TxDOT? I would say certainly in half the amount of that time, within 3 months. There's policies, it's not, we don't have to reinvent the wheel with this. It's, we can find one that's applicable to our jurisdiction and insert your name here.
I get it, I just wanted you to say it.
Yes. It's, I've already got from them several policies from other jurisdictions. It's just a matter of picking through it and finding the right one.
We get to that point, we can share that with the council.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm done, George.
And it will be incorporated into the new policy manual as well that we are currently going, rewriting our policy manual for accreditation.
Thank you.
With the contract negotiation, I know you said after 3 years?
The year,
2 years?
year 3 and beyond.
Okay, so with the other cities, have you seen that their negotiations price was reasonable? Like it went down instead of 39,000 a year?
So we charge per unit, so it's $3,000 per unit per year. The cost as of 2 years ago has increased by $500. I expect in the next handful of years, there is a potential the price will go up. We're going to communicate that 100% with you. What this does is it locks you in for that period of time for the price that you guys negotiated. So with the $3,000, I'll just reiterate, it's not just the hardware that you're getting, it's the full service model. So ours, we have cellular and we have solar for the actual unit. We do all the permitting, all the installation, all the training, all the maintenance on that device over time. So when you have that $3,000 subscription cost, there's literally not 1 cent that's gonna come out of Chief's budget for the next 2 years, other than what you guys have negotiated, because it's all built into our contract that that unit has to be up and live and running 365 days out of that contract year.
And then when you say you have access nationwide to other agencies,
Mhm.
you're talking about like the FBI and stuff? Or just Bash
lot.
Trap?
We currently have, I want to say, it's more than 3,400 agencies across the country. So if every agency does the same amount that Chief's doing here, just you can multiply that. There's a lot of cameras throughout.
Dang one.
One agency? Or are you saying like a 3-letter agency? Oh, we have some. This is a public forum. I'll keep that away. But yes, we have a lot of the agencies from the top down are utilizing this. So everything from DPS to,
State and
Homeland, you
federal,
name it.
just say state and federal.
Love that. Let's keep it very
You got
broad.
it.
State and federal. Yes.
A good example of that.
She's worked for the
is
state for a long time.
A good example to answer your question is the Tesla factory. That was the Austin Regional Intelligence Center. I believe it was their camera system, right? I'm sorry? Oh, Sunset Valleys. But it feeds into the intelligence center. And then they feed in elsewhere.
So do we currently have license readers?
In the cars, yes.
And do we have a policy about how we use that data?
That is specifically no. For the in-car cameras, no. It is.
It's real time.
Yeah. How long is the data stored for the Axon cameras?
If it's not tagged, it's gonna be stored for 30 to 60 days. It disappears off the user's
Okay.
the actual screen.
Okay.
But we can access it on our server for that long, and if it's tagged, it has a retention period built in.
Okay. And as far as a policy, that we do not have a specific policy for the in-car camera data. No. And
We can clean that up with this.
yes, absolutely, absolutely.
So, what is the resolution on these cameras? Because I know the sample picture that you had, the 290 and whatever.
Oh, it's good resolution.
You couldn't see the license plate at all. But,
Oh, I thought we were talking about the.
No, the one on 290, that was just yeah, we just went on
so
online
it
and said,
wasn't from one of your
yeah,
cameras?
yeah.
But, yeah, because I know at TML, I saw some, group that had cameras and, you could look 3 blocks down.
Like, if you want to scroll back to the Brazoria County one.
So if we go back to that picture,
Which one is it?
the one with the news article. Yeah, right there. All right, so these, obviously, it's ripped from Facebook. It's copied multiple times. The images are far clearer than that. I want to say they're 5 megapixel, either 4 or 5 megapixel. The difference between what you're talking about, at least I've sold hardware for like PTC cameras and everything for years. The difference is these are not surveillance cameras, these are police tools. So these only have to see as far as they need to see. What we do is it's going to be fixed on, let's say, the right side of the road, looking at the rear of the vehicle. All I need for that camera is 100 feet. So I can be within 100 feet, so 75 feet, 50 feet off. The goal is to get the rear side of the vehicle and the side of the vehicle, so as much of a distinguishing characteristics of that vehicle as possible. It is clear, I mean, you've seen the images, but you're able to look at those both daytime and nighttime to establish the license plate and paper plates, you name it. We're able to pull those.
So that brings another question. You just said you only need to have the left side of the car. Now I gotta go out and look at mine. The left side of the car and the tag number is all that you need. The left side of the car, is that what's gonna distinguish whether it's a Chevy or a Volkswagen or?
Good question.
Is that a?
So we train our machine learning. So as you said, there's no facial recognition, anything like that. There's vehicle recognition. The vehicle recognition is trained on the manufacturer specs of the rear of a vehicle.
Okay.
The reason why we're giving you either the right or the left side is that, let's say if you're gonna have an in-car, you're just looking at the rear of a vehicle. That's only so much information. If I can get the side of a vehicle where there might be a scratch, there might be a missing hubcap, right? These are the things that, as a civilian, if a incident is happening in real time, this is what I'm gonna be calling about.
Right.
It's an SUV with this big scratch on the side, right? So that'll help him to be able to narrow down the data.
Okay.
It's a great question, though.
Chief, I think we talked about this before, so I get all my acronyms confused. So the real-time data, when somebody comes through Bastrop, because this is the same system that is in our neighborhood, right? Right. So a stolen car comes through Bastrop, it's heading towards Elgin. How quick are you gonna get the information to where you might need to do something with it? Or is this just a CID thing where we're following it?
5 to 15 seconds.
We're gonna deliver it in real time. So that's where if you have an officer that's in that beat, you can sit down on the road now from a camera, right? So you start playing the game a little bit different with this.
You said 3K a camera?
3K camera.
We're only putting up 4? I'm sorry. We're only putting up 4?
13.
13.
I heard 13 somewhere.
Yeah, and that's where the third 9,000 comes up. So $3,000 per camera for 13 cameras.
That was the number of cameras we felt that would best cover initially the roadways that we need to cover. 290 will be both east and westbound, and 95 same thing.
Four basic roads.
Yes.
But it'll be 13 cameras spread out on those.
There's no expectation of privacy because you're in the car.
None in downtown region,
I'm sorry?
none in the downtown area.
No, sir. We can, I mean, that can be added later.
For
And,
$3,000.
For $3,000. I just know I've had plenty of chases come down Main Street and
Yes.
through downtown at 60, 70 miles an hour.
It is a main it is a main thoroughfare.
It's a state
and,
highway.
you know, state highway, as is, Taylor Road. And, Taylor would be a good candidate as well, as would Lexington Road, as would 1704.
Right.
And, particularly when, Trinity Ranch comes online and they eventually expand out and hit Upper Elgin Road.
All right, now.
Right.
We're just trying to get
So
the
are there
80
any
grand
funding
here.
or grants hanging out there?
I'm glad you asked.
As far as any grants go, no, there is not. And,
You'll have scholarships.
if you're willing to contribute.
But I guess I can say financially, as the chief said, this was something that didn't make the cut in the budget, but we're satisfied now that overall budget savings will enable us to front this cost between now and the end of the fiscal year, and then we'll have it in the budget next year. So it shouldn't have any net impact on the budget.
So this will amend his budget when we come with an
No,
amendment?
this action tonight is just to approve, authorize moving forward. This will be part of the mid-year budget amendment we bring back to council.
All right.
And that'll be,
To change the appropriations.
as far as like year two, because that will be rolling around when the year two part of the contract comes due, that, whether we incorporate that into the next year budget or allocate the money now and leave it in play during that time.
But we still have to wait for a text out, right?
Yes, that's correct. If that takes up to 6 months, then again, the 60-day, that equipment has to be installed and running. And correct me if I'm wrong, that's when our 60-day pilot program and satisfaction guarantee starts at that time.
But this isn't anything new with TxDOT, right?
Oh, no, text
I
dot.
mean, all those other cities we talked about, that's where they.
Every single one of them have done text dot deployments, whether existing infrastructure, whether they're just poles in the side of the road, behind a guardrail, you name it. So we have a full permitting department, does the city, does the county, and at least now helps with the text dot. They've kind of blocked out vendors from full text dot resolutions, but regardless of how this goes about with text dot, you guys will see this again. So there will be a resolution that comes to you. You have to do MUA through text dot to be able to go through the whole process. So that'll just say that you guys are aware that you're putting in devices that are now looking at text dot right away, and you guys are okay from the city perspective.
Any other, oh, go ahead, I'm sorry, we cut you off, didn't we?
Um,
Oh, we did. We're sorry.
Y'all know I always got lots of questions. Yeah, I mean, I think, I don't like crime, like the next person doesn't like crime, and I also want to just be sensitive of the misuse of data. And so I think I want to throw some things out there. If we were to create a policy that our data is only used by law enforcement, is that something that we could abide by?
Yes, the data has to be used for law enforcement.
Well, like, I
legitimate law
don't,
enforcement.
no offense to HOA, but I don't want to send it to an HOA
Right.
person who's not a law enforcement, who's just looking for somebody who
Absolutely.
stole cookies.
We
Like,
can, yeah.
I just think that's the wrong use of
No,
data.
absolutely. And that is a policy type of issue.
Okay. And then can we do, I guess, a minimum of like an annual report about how we're using the data, both from the cameras that are installed and potentially the ones in the cars?
Absolutely, yes.
And then back to the sharing piece. How does that, does council say we can share it with so-and-so, or how, do we have interlocal agreements? How does that work?
That's in I'll let.
So you sign an MOU with Flock, which they've already done, to get access to our nationwide database. When it comes to our physical hardware, it's basically an opt-in, opt-out. If you guys want to opt in, I truly highly recommend it. Every single department around this area is sharing their data with each other. To Chief's point, this is strictly a law enforcement tool. So when he says you need police information in there, no, you need a case number. So case number and everything is tracked. If someone uses the system incorrectly, it is fully auditable, and it's misuse of government property. Like, they know that there's a high standard of using the system. No one wants to get it taken away. It works very well, and that's ultimately why we continue to grow on this. For the sharing, I don't believe you need an interlocal agreement. The MUA would do that. It's now up to Chief and his department. Do we want to share with X agency because of the cases that we have coming out of that area or not?
Thanks.
Question.
Kind of defeat the purpose if we didn't share it, though.
Yes,
I mean, it dramatically undermined the value of it. And then also, it's similar to utilizing dispatching and radio to, I mean, Chief and I remember when you used to be able to run your girlfriend's new date license plate. Can't do that anymore, and so it's the same kind of rules. I mean, literally,
yes.
police officers have lost their job for not using that correctly, so there's a high standard that we maintain that way, and I assume it's the same concept that will apply here.
It's no different than CJIS.
If we would ever get caught using it for an improved service.
And I'm not worried about us using it incorrectly. I'm worried about other agencies, other foreign governments, just.
Well, just know for the state, you go to jail. Seriously.
I
mean,
think
we
it was
have-
the same
Yeah,
thing.
no, I mean, you find out eventually because there are checks and balances because I used to look up DMV stuff back in the day when that was part of my job. And you would definitely, yeah, you get to go to jail for a little bit of time if that's tracked on your system, and trust me, brother, watch it. So I would be more upset about an HOA than I would be about a state or federal agency. That
See,
I
the HOA would share information with us. We would not share it with them.
Okay.
And now, whenever you log into, the criminal justice system, you run a license plate, you run a person, there has to be a name of the person who's doing it it leaves a
In
footprint.
there.
And if you have to
And
log
the
in-
second you do that, then it's traceable
Triggers.
back to you.
Correct.
Yeah.
And I'd assume that Flock wouldn't want bad players, right? I mean,
Right, so.
if somebody was misusing it and you found that, you wouldn't
We don't
stake
look
the
at
whole
it like
rest of the system based on that one entity. You'd
And that's the
probably
big
kick them
thing,
out.
right? We will lose access across the board if people use it incorrectly. So part of the full service is, yeah, you have the permitting and the installation, but you also have a dedicated, they're called customer success managers. Every shift that chief has, they will be there to train them in advance. Anytime they have questions, she's the girl, right? She's gonna be the one all on top of this, literally day and night. So we wanna make sure you use it correctly, you know how to track successes, you know how to audit the system correctly. Anything to do to make sure that you can have this thing 10 years down the line, that's the ultimate goal. I wanna answer one more thing. The HOA, so though they're the same cameras, they're reading two different systems. So Chief and his system it's CJIS compliant information. So NCIC, NCMEC, that's gonna be feeding into the PD. They will see those same hits on the HOA cameras, but HOA doesn't see any of that. All they're getting is a tally of who's coming in and out of their facility. So they are completely different. This is a law enforcement device, the one that we're giving you guys.
So it's a camera that, just correct me if I'm wrong, it's a camera that you said runs 24/7?
It's just snapping pictures.
Just snapping pictures?
Yep.
So if somebody was like, I got hit, are you gonna be able to see that? Or if it just pictured at somebody's bumper?
Yeah, so anything motion fed. So we get, there's bonus data, which is literally like a tumbleweed or a trash can rolling across, right? We're not gonna deliver that to chief because that's just wasted data. With that, think of it as I won't say glorified game cam, is the way I describe it. It's snapping pictures of everything that goes past. So if you have a vehicle that in one picture on the east side of Main Street doesn't have any damage, and on the west side of Main Street has large front end damage, smoking gun, right? You can now dive deeper into your information.
So then the citizens can call PD and be like, hey, I happened to get into a wreck by this camera. Can y'all pull it up?
Yeah, we're on this street, and then they'll know where the cameras are. They'll also be able to go to the 7-Eleven in town and look at their camera and the school parking lot. Like, you're gonna work through the investigation portion. This just delivers leads. So if you're looking at something like I've seen some hit and run on this corridor, it allows them to immediately go in and figure out potentially who's in the area, right? At least start their investigation, where, like the case you just talked about, you don't have any suspects, right, for that shooting, so.
No, that's the whole point of it, is it gives us a place to start.
So we are tied in by cooperation with companies along the way that have got cameras as well. I mean, like stores and that sort of thing, if they want to share theirs with us.
Yeah, so if anyone has access to, so really your commercial, your schools, your churches, all of them can purchase this hardware if they wanted to. Some can even gift it to the PD. What I'm referring to in that situation, those in town that don't have this camera currently, chief would go through the investigation of looking at their security cameras and, starting the gumshoe detective type work. This just adds data points to that and kind of indisputable evidence that this is your car, you're at this place, this time, and so on.
All right.
Okay, any other questions, comments?
Our CID program department's big enough to do this in 30 days.
I'm sorry?
Our CID department's big enough to do this in 30 days.
Well, if you're offering.
I think I did real good last night, so I should be on.
Yeah, that was
I did amazing.
a real live murder mystery.
Yeah.
Most people pay $100 for a dinner and a show to do that.
Okay, so, it's So for tonight, what we're looking for is a motion for us to move forward in the process. And so do I hear?
Any, meeny, miny, moe.
Okay, so we'll give Love the motion and Callahan the second. So we'll begin with Love.
Love, yes.
Callahan, yes.
Dennis, yes?
Frazier, yes.
McShane, yes.
Kesnowski, yes.
Gibson, yes. Swain, yes.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you.
And for the record, we'll be coming back to council once we implement and get a couple of those policies done so we can fill in the blanks of what we heard tonight.
Absolutely.
We'll do that before we get started.
Very good.
Thanks, Chief.
So I should have gotten this before. I should have had the car wash plan. So our next one we're gonna be talking about. I missed that chance. Car wash. Oh, excuse me. Okay, so our next one is going to be on our ordinance granting a specific use permit for construction of and operation of a car wash facility on property located at 1391 West Highway 290, Wallace Lundgren subdivision.
Thank you, Mayor. This is actually a kind of more or less a routine matter. The city's zoning code by conscious decision that a previous council had made a few years ago does not provide for a car wash as a approved use in commercial zoning, so that car washes would have to come forward and get a special use permit. So that's what this action is tonight. Actually, this car wash is being proposed to replace the one that's exists over there by Rush Chevrolet. There's nothing terribly unique about it. Plan Commission reviewed it, unanimously recommended approval of special use permit. Staff has no issues with it, but so it's a routine thing, but it's a routine process that any builder of a car wash still has to get a separate specific use permit. So that's the action for you this evening. It's our understanding they're ready to start construction. This approval of this permit is just the last step before they do so.
Is anybody here to talk about it?
Voted.
Oh, okay.
I don't think there's anything else worth adding, Bo?
No, you covered everything
Okay.
at this point. Just here for questions.
We do have plenty of water, right? Right.
We absolutely have plenty of water. Chuck, we've got water to sell.
Can you educate me why this is not, you said the previous council, so I'm just curious why.
Previous council.
I wouldn't
You
say
gotta,
immediately previous for me goes back 20 years.
I mean, this just sounds silly that this
So-
previous
you
car
gotta
wash
go back
has to
to
come
the old
here.
timer, who, this was
Right.
before me, so.
So when it comes to commercial zoning, there's a very specific list of uses that council approved way back when. Some of them you wanted, like, if it would be a bookstore, they actually have a shoe repair shop is a use that is listed, things that went down to that literally criteria. At the time, the idea was a car wash, there was a couple in that were not being kept up with. There's another one out there on 95 as well that is, a car wash that's no longer in use. And so the council essentially said, we don't want it to be an approved use where these can pop up and go away. We want to know who's coming in, we want to do a specific use permit at that point in time. Now granted, the code always can be re-reviewed by council and other uses added to it. But as it stands right now, that decision was made and it's just never been added as an approved use because council and P&Z wanted those to come before them to actually see what was going in. So this is a facility, this specific facility, it'd be a manned facility where you have a reader, but it actually opens and closes. It has operational hours. So it's not one of those 24/7 where you pull in your car, you put in your quarters and you come and go. So that's kind of what was presented to P&Z. They're getting rid of the access off of that private drive. They've worked with the Chevrolet dealership over there. In general, P and Z was happy with it. It meets all the city staffs as far as the construction plans that have been approved. They've met all the ordinances and requirements there as well. But obviously, they don't want to put dollars moving forward until they know that they can actually use this use. P and Z didn't put a time frame on it. They put it with the establishment, essentially granted.
Any traffic impact study there? Right there on the
Not, they're
highway?
using the existing drive, so they're not needing, they still have to meet, little modifications from Tech Stop, but it's not anything that they have to do a TIA or anything on.
I used to use this car wash a lot when it was open before.
Me and you both. Every time I went to Austin, which was a lot.
But now you don't have to go in there with water.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the ordinance as presented.
All right, it's been moved and seconded, and we will begin with Mayor Pro Tem Brazier.
Motion, yes.
McShane, yes?
Kaznowski, yes.
Gibson, yes.
Swain, yes.
Love, yes.
Callahan, yes.
Dennis, yes.
All right.
All righty.
Make it big enough for long trucks.
For a long truck, all right. All right, so it is.
We got one more.
I read it. It's important.
Oh. Marble. I was through with that, anyway. Okay, so, we have the last one, number 3 is a resolution, sorry, Bo. A resolution for the city of Elgin authorizing the city manager to execute an agreement with Kevin Bo Perry and Ward Getz and Associates of Houston to serve as city engineer and director of development services.
Thank you, Mayor. This is the contract that we discussed last week, or our last meeting, whereby we're forming our unique relationship with Bo to continue to expand his role with us and serve as Director of Development Services. So this is, again, as we discussed, although he'll serve in that role and work with the staff regularly, he'll still be a contract employee, won't receive benefits. But the contract spells out all the details. For him to continue to serve as city engineer and work for Ward Getz, we had to do a little manipulating, but Bo and city attorney and I got together, and so we're satisfied with this agreement and recommend approval.
Do I have a motion?
We'll make a motion.
Will, as in the two. Ward 2 makes a motion.
Ward 2 makes a motion.
Okay, Love, and let's begin with, well, I'm gonna give it to him this time. Let's begin with Swain.
Swain, yes.
Love, yes.
Callahan, yes.
Dennis, yes.
Frazier, yes.
McShane, yes.
Kaznowski, yes.
Gibson, yes.
All righty. So we are going to go into executive session, and it is now 7:22, and we'll retire into executive session. Session and, Mayor Pro Tem.
You need to say we have no action.
Oh, and we have no action, sorry.
Got
And
no action.
I need to make a
That's
motion
kinda
to
sad.
excuse Councilmember Rodriguez since he did not make it.
I second it.
Okay, it's been moved in second, and Ms. Frazier?
Frazier, yes?
McShane, yes?
Kaznowski, yes.
Gibson, yes. Swain, yes.
Love, yes.
Callahan, yes.
Dennis, yes.
Okay, anything else I left out?
Any announcement?
Sip
Any
shop.
announcement?
Oh,
Sip Shop is Thursday.
We got the grand opening this Friday.
Valentine's, don't forget to buy your sweeties something.
Oh, that's
Look at that. Sue's doing such a good job helping y'all keep your relations positive. Meanwhile, so the first thing I'm going to mention to y'all is something several weeks away so that you can think about and decide how you want to plan for it. As you know, we host a community Easter egg hunt, and that demands thousands of eggs for amazing little kids to get to go hunt. So on your part, if mayor and council, if you guys want to give eggs, the filled plastic eggs are due by March 15th, and you may drop them off at the Fleming Community Center or the Rec Center. We sponsor the egg hunt with the sub-district of churches, and this year it will be at Elgin Memorial Park on March 23rd. So it is a full Saturday before Easter weekend, and they'll have games and activities so that everybody has entertainment between the hunts that they participate in age group wise. And we just wanted to let y'all know, businesses, organizations, individuals, everybody's welcome to donate filled eggs so that there's lots of eggs for the kids
And what are they filled
to
with?
hunt.
Tell us about that.
Well, that's up to you. You know, you can fill with chocolate, you can fill with Band-Aids, you could do, little stickers, you can have little toys,
They're gonna be upset if you put Band-Aids
all kind of candy.
If it's a hot day for us, don't do chocolate.
I was gonna say,
It does
but it's a
happen.
March this year. It's March 23rd. It's not the middle of April.
temporary tattoos are popular.
You can go on
Yep.
Oriental Trading and already get them filled by the 200s and bring them to us.
Look at that. Don't even have to stuff yourself.
Already filled.
Already filled.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor. Other news, tomorrow, if you don't have plans, you can still give blood at our City of Elgin Blood Drive. That's the mobile unit down at the rec center, so they still had spots open when I was checking it this afternoon. Friday, you can do chakras and chocolate here at the library, which is a really very meditative, relaxing experience. It's part of our Libraries for Mental Health grant with St. David's Foundation. Thursday night, don't forget to go to Sip, Shop, and Stroll. All kinds of fantastic fun with the Mardi Gras theme happening there. And on Saturday, you've already been reminded, come and celebrate this beautiful new playground and enjoy watching all the kids have a great time. There are going to be snacks and some really fun commemorative items to celebrate the dedication. So don't miss, because you'll want to get the fun, cool stuff. You guys have any questions?
Can we do Cascarones?
No, you may not. It's not good for the environment in none of the state parks or our parks. We would love it if you did not do cascarones in the parks. Keep that in your own yard.
Figured that was the answer.
All righty.
She said no. She said a hard no. Which is soft. No soft no.
Okay, it's 7:52, and we are adjourned.